I want to tell you something a little wild. Choosing what to do with your life is not always about passion. I know you have heard it million times, follow your passion, do what you love, and you never work a day in your life. And yet I'm here and I'm telling you, maybe, just maybe put that advice on pause and let me explain. Ever since I was a kid, I loved art. I was sketching, playing piano, and I was in love with drama. And then in my teens, it was all about movies. Cinema felt like this magic world that I just had to be part of. It wasn't just about hobby or skill. It was a way for me to share my ideas, to give life to what I felt like inside. But I was also that kid that gets good grade in everything, physics, biology, chemistry. I loved science behind everything, especially human body. And guess what that led to? Yep, my family pushing me toward a medical career. But honestly, I was stuck between two worlds, the pool of creativity and the steady promise of science. Here's the first thing I realized: you don't have to be head over heels for a career to make it work. Choosing a career isn't like about falling in love. In fact, it's more like finding someone you like enough to build a stable relationship with. Because here's the thing about love, it's not always enough. Just like how someone marriages break apart even if they start with love. Career chosen purely out of passion can hint someone's hard realities. Being in love with an idea of a job is different than living the job every day. Think about it this way. Imagine you love playing guitar and think, I want to be a musician. But as you start building the career, you realize it's not just about jamming out of fun, it's the hustle. You are doing gigs, managing finances, making a steady income, all while staying true to your art. Sometimes the reality of the job might not match exactly to the idea of it, and then what? You might start resenting what you once loved. It's like dating someone just because they're attractive. Sure, it's exciting at first, but is that enough to build a life together? You don't need to be in love with it feel to end up liking it. Sometimes you start a job because it makes sense, you are good at, or it offers a stable income. And then something weird happens. You get better. You start seeing rewards, money, recognition, or just getting more confident. And before you know it, you actually start enjoying it because as humans, we tend to like what we are good at. Think of it like this: if you are good at math or computer, maybe you become a computer engineer. Not because it's your life stream, but because it's a skill. You get hired, you grow, and eventually that success cycle can actually start bringing you joy. And guess what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But don't get me wrong, you can't choose a career purely because it makes sense on paper or it gives you more opportunities. Without what we call competing interests, it's hard to stay motivated through the rough parts. And every career, no matter how well it's aligned to your skills and goals, has tough patches. But what do I mean by competing interests? It's that deeper personal reason for doing something, a reason that goes beyond logic and gives you that drive to keep pushing forward, especially in hard circumstances. For instance, consider a field like medicine. Becoming a doctor is not just about a job, it's a demanding journey that requires years of intense study, significant financial investment, and often long hours of work and sacrifices. If you don't have enough reasons that truly matters for you, like a desire to help others, to advance medical science, or maybe a personal commitment to support your family, it's hard to stay motivated. So it's not all about having pure love for the job or just making logical sense. It's about balancing the two and finding your personal motivation. Sometimes the hardest part of choosing career is realizing we are limited by what we are already know or by what family or society expect. Our minds tend to focus on the options we are most aware of, and it's easy to get boxed into the familiar path. Doctor, engineer, lawyer. These roles are known, respected, and in most places feel like the only legitimate choices. But this kind of thinking can block us from discover the path that equally rewarding or even better fit for us. Imagine stepping back and considering careers that falls outside of the mainstream. A world of possibilities opens up. For example, there are countless fulfilling careers and income sources we rarely think of because they're outside of what we know. It's like being in a room with just one window open. If we only look outside of the window, we can't see the whole landscape. But once we step back, open more windows or maybe doors, we start seeing opportunities we haven't noticed before. The perfect fit might be closer than what you think, waiting just outside of the familiar. Now, here's a big one that most people overlook. Why do you want a certain career? Do you want to be an actor because you love theater or because you are dreaming of the fame and wealth? Or maybe you want to be a doctor, but is it really more about saving lives or is it more about the status or income? It's not wrong to want the status, money, or fame, but be honest with yourself. It's your true motivation, it's just what that careers bring rather than the career itself. You could be setting yourself for disappointment. Fame can take years to build, and not every doctor is making six figures. When you understand why you are drawn to a career, it gives you a clear, more realistic perspective on what you are getting into. Now, let's talk about the financial aspect. You might think if I study this one subject, it will guarantee a good income, but not necessarily. I know doctors and dentists who are struggling financially, while some piano teachers have turned their love for music into a thriving business. The key is to expand your financial and business knowledge. You can turn almost any passion into a viable business. Whether you're a tailor, artist, or even a fitness coach, if you're determined to make money from it, there is a path. Just remember, everyone's circumstances is different. So don't blindly chase what seems to be financially effective. You might fall into the trap of thinking that just because a field is high demand, it will automatically make you happy. But let's face it, if you don't enjoy what you are doing, the money won't matter in long run. And of course, making money sometimes is a different skill than the job itself. There is something that people don't talk about enough. Your path isn't set in stone just because you pick something. For example, I started studying theater and drama, and then I became a dentist. It's weird, right? But after a while, I realized there was areas within dentistry, like aesthetic dentistry, that let me tap into my artistic side and my passion for sharing ideas. That's why I have this channel to share my ideas with you. You can always adapt and evolve. Sometimes your skill and interests start to overlapping in a way that you never expect, and you can actually shape your own version of success. Another thing, not every passion has to be profitable. If you love something, maybe it's okay if it is just a side project. Trying to squeeze income from every passion can actually take the joy out of it. Sometimes, if you're lucky, it might evolve to something profitable, but it's also okay if it doesn't. Having a stable career can give you the freedom to keep those passions on the side without the pressure to pay the bills. And finally, this one's huge. Real progress requires focus. If you are interested in art, medicine, sport, and music, but you split your time equally among them, you make a small step in each, but if you put majority of your time in one, that's when you see the huge result. Focus breeds a skill, and a skill eventually builds passion. It's an exponential curve. Once you see those results, your interest and satisfaction just grow. Careers, side passions, and hobbies, they don't have to be perfectly aligned. They just have to be yours. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe.